Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where we've been working on this nuclear power plant and we just need one more thing to get it started. Pressure conversion cubes, because once we have those, we'll combine it with these cells, have plutonium fuel rods, and then power out the wazoo. Problem is these cubes, well, they're kind of like a whole thing to automate. Good news at least is we have all of the fuel and Arubar stuff kind of dealt with. We kind of have all of the Caterium stuff dealt with. So it is a lot of simple processing. Making a few refineries, couple blenders, a little bit of silica, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of iron. Over 15,000 ingots in fact. But that's gonna be fine. Because after we get that power and we have the pressure conversion cubes automated, we can do a whole lot more fun stuff with them as well. But even right now, we can do a lot of fun things. With this pressure conversion cube project, it is so big that we don't have the space at our power plant to automate the cubes. We're going to be making them in the green fields biome, where we had our starter base, but last time we cleaned it up, and now it is a fresh slate ready for processing. And you might be thinking, iron ingots, how do you make that interesting, Mr. Kibbs? Well, good news is, I don't need to make it interesting. The developers made iron ingots a lot more interesting. Because back in the day, you really only had a few options for how to smelt ingots. Really, it's in a schmelter, 30 ore, 30 iron ingots, there you go. Then they introduced the refinery method, where you can get iron ore and water to make pure ingots, or you could even use this leached iron ore recipe, which is ore and acid, which is really, really good. Probably one of my new favorite recipes is over here, the basic iron ingot recipe that takes iron ore and limestone to make iron ingots. And I have to mention there is even another recipe, the iron alloy ingot one, that takes iron ore and copper ore to make tons of ingots, but copper is too precious for this, so we're never gonna use it. We're using this one a lot. The great thing about this biome here is there are a lot of basic resources. Tons of iron, tons of limestone, and as I mentioned, tons of space. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one, right, Mr. Bean? Right. Because initially, I just thought, oh, we'll just use the best recipe, and that's the pure iron ingot one. Takes ore, doubles it with some water. It's very good, indisputable. But we have so much ore and so much limestone, I didn't wanna just build, 200 refineries in this biome. So instead, we're gonna be making some pretty interesting blueprints combining together a lot of the different recipes. So with the blueprints, we're going to try and make it like one machine. We're gonna treat the blueprint as inputs go in, outputs go out. It's like, for example, we could build a couple refineries in the corner, and then we'll just keep track of how much ore and how much water or whatever goes into them. Or really just the ore. We got water. But no, now we can make things interesting, because we could have some of the iron go to those refineries. Then we could build a couple foundries, have them set to the iron recipes. And heck, we can even sneak a couple schmelters in here. Why not? Like, limestone and iron are the two most abundant resources in the whole game. So if we're not being perfectly efficient, it's fine. Sometimes I like to play by the rule of cool. And that's what we're gonna be doing here. So say, for example, though, this is our blueprint, right? Each of these would take 30 iron ore per minute. So 30 times 4, 120. These take 35 each, so that's extra 70, so that's 190. And then the foundries down here take 25 each, which is 265 ore. But the big thing is, if we're getting belts of iron ore from the miners over there, if we fully overclock a normal node, that's 600 ore. If we fully overclock a pure node, that's 1,200 ore. So if each of these blueprints could get 300 ore in them, that'd be fantastic. So 300 minus 265 is 35. So somehow, I guess, I don't know. Wait, 35? This takes 35. Double it. Boom. Now this whole blueprint takes exactly 300 ore. And that's all I'm really caring about. It's just the ore input. We need 15,000 iron ingots, okay? So whatever numbers we can get, we'll get to them. But okay, getting ahead of myself here. We still gotta figure out how to make this blueprint work. There has to be one entrance for all the items. If we're spamming this blueprint up, I don't know, a quadrillion times, I'm gonna get really confused if there isn't just one input and one output. Okay, so maybe I should think through how I'm doing this a bit better. Yeah, there's quite a few things to consider. Yeah, getting all the right amount of items in, and also the belt work, making sure it's a little chill. Thankfully, past Kibs has helped us out a ton and has lots of blueprints available, like this foundry blueprint. So what I could just do is put this just into our blueprint maker, and then I could use it to figure out the rest of the machines in here. Like for example, like we were doing before, we had like refineries in here. Well, now I could just set this up, I don't know, like there. If the iron is on that bottom belt for the refineries, that could just head over to there. And then to fill in some of the space, we could just have some schmeltas. Why aren't they on the radio wheel? Oh, there they are. But anyway, yeah, much better. And I spent a lot more time than that, actually refining the design, making it a little more interesting, giving it some height variation. And this is what I've come up with. So it actually takes 200 iron ore, 120 limestone, and makes 320 iron ingots. Big caveat with all these systems is we're practically out of power shards as well. We got 119 here, we got 67 there, and that is all that is left in the world right now. Less than 200. So none of these blueprints can really use any power shards. So really had to actually focus on underclocking. So the last machine here is just underclocked to take 30 ore per minute, but now our outputs are pretty wacky. But for convenience, I just rounded down, and now this big whole system will make 320 ingots that will end up over here. So if we do the math on that, 15,000 divided by 320 means we have to build almost 50 of these blueprints. But where exactly do we build things? Oh, you know, what have I done? I'm focused on the factory. We don't even have all the items here. We gotta gather up all of the iron from around this biome. Where is the iron? Got a bunch there, that's what we're looking at. Some over there. Okay, iron out the wazoo everywhere. But remember, we're working from our old starter base, so the good news is we have infrastructure to build off all over the place. So these couple iron nodes over here, well, we have these perfectly aligned lanes ready to scoot on over. So it's just building that, taking care of the neighbors, and we're ready to rock and roll. I wish this was limestone, that would be so funny. And then just for output stuff, it's so many iron ingots that we just simply have to build a belt highway. So I have one all prepared here, and underneath will be a train track for other stuff. I don't know what, but we'll find a use for it. The main thing is, big belt highway here, and since we are in Satisfactory Experimental, belt highways are ridiculously simple to put together at this point. Just link them together, build them out, and I can already tell you that we are going to run out of alclad sheets in T-minus 0 seconds. But that's okay, because at least we can get some stuff done if I don't make mistakes. Or no, really not that much. We're already out of alclad sheets, and I want to make this 2 lanes of belts here. We're going to assume they're going to be Mark 6, so that's 1,200 items per minute each. 15,000 divided by 1,200 is like 13 belts we gotta bring, and this is 9. So lots of belt work to do, and this is getting extremely annoying not having enough in the depot. Let's go fix that. Where are our alclad sheets being made? On our factory floor? I would hazard a guess. Wait, this isn't it. Where do I go? More up? You'd better believe it. This is it. These 4 machines in this row, this is our entire alclad aluminum sheets production. And as per usual, our big problem is we just don't have enough uploaders. They only upload at 240 per minute, and we have the sheets, so we just need more uploading. So here's the deal. We're just gonna build more bins over this way, put a splitter in front, and we throw more depots on top. In fact, we have run into this problem so many times, I'm just gonna make this a blueprint. Yeah, after working on the nuclear power plant, specifically on all of the pipes, we have run into this issue 100 times. And yeah, you know, just a blueprint, send it. Maybe we'll only use this 1 or 2 more times, doesn't matter. It's just convenience, right? And also we can make this a little expandable as well, later on if we so decide. Actually, wait, no. Make it chonky. We have lots of Mercer steers. Why stop at a half measure? There we go. Our new chonk uploader. All right, so system is much better. And that let us complete the huge belt highway. meaning we know where to bring all of the iron ingots at the end of the day. It's gonna be somewhere over there. And all I had to do was go out and collect everything. But now we're ready to rock and roll. We have a ton of resources down here. We're gonna have a train station built upstairs, and we can use our new blueprint all over here. And quick math, 600 here, there, over there. That's 3,000. Okay, 3,000 divided by the, what was it? 200 iron ore per system. So we have to build 15 of these smelter mass machines. Holy macaroni. This is gonna look so cool though. Because once we have a bunch of these built in this biome, there's gonna be different height variations. And also once we get all the belt work started, things are gonna go off the rails here, bud. Let's do a little bit of planning though before we go much further forward. The big thing is, I do want this area to be walkable, or at least have a walking path, and leave some of the infrastructure and designs we already had from our starter base. To leave some lore, like that lookout tower there, staying there forever. The stairs right there, staying there forever. So this means this will be our walking path. It'll go all the way through. So we'll just put our power line down through here as well. And then we can have all of the belt work kind of work around our main scooting path. Also, building without a hover pack is very sad, and I needed the power line in here, okay? Oh gosh, and then I can notice when I build these blueprints off center, what the heck? Kibs, you have one job. Though to be fair, sometimes the nudge mode works on diagonals. I can't tell you why this happens. Experimental, I suppose. So it's not all on me this time. But hey, it's worth the trade-off. We get auto-connecting blueprints. Sometimes the nudge mode doesn't work. It is what it is. Okay, what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 systems. That's like half of them. That's great. And each system takes 200 iron ore and makes 320 ingots, right? So we can just line them up and just combine the inputs and outputs and everything will be fine. This just goes to there. Now we'll have a 640 belt at the end of the day. Input wise, okay, hold up. That might be a little bit more tricky. I have to put in a splitter here, and that would have to go to there. So I'm gonna have to space these out a little bit more. And then for the limestone needs to go in here for the foundries. Oh geez, okay. We do something like this. We have to leave room here because at some point, future Kibs will bring the water in for all of the refineries. But that's a future Kibs problem. And then we have the rest of the limestone from the first system here. Okay, so then we could just scoot it over this way-ish. Come on. Okay, to there, and then to there. Ooh, straight belt build mode with the save. That works out perfect. Yeah, just have to move this out a little bit and then do that a bunch more times. And oh my gosh, it was so worth it. I am so happy we just didn't spam up refineries all over the place. This looks so cool, dude. Look at all the machines. And it's all just for smelting iron. Of all things, it's like the most basic process in the entire game. And then Kibs was like, ooh, what if we did things a little differently? And now we're really in the weeds. No, that is most of the machines here, and I've extended our platform out a little bit, because we just have to build another 3 or 4 of these setups, and then we're good to go. Oh, that's not good. That's not gonna fit here. We can't mirror it then. Oh, but we can fit it in this direction. Do we do this? Yeah, you know, if we built all of these setups just in the same orientation, it would get boring. Yeah, we'll mix it up then. We'll just have these in this position. Maybe build a couple up here as well, and then hook them together too. And that'll be great. One thing that needs to happen though, is the space elevator. I'm sorry, brother. You have to be moved. We're gonna be using a lot more of this space here. Like, we're not even a third of the way through the project with that, so space elevator. Time to go to what might be your final resting place. I don't really have a good plan for where to put the space elevator. But we'll continue just to leave it here for now. And also, we get to see that awesome animation once again. It's been a long time. Oh man, dude. Chills. Chills. Even after like 3,000 hours. Just awesome. Okay, back to work. Or more so just wrapping it all up. I just had to get all of the belts to where they needed to be. Again, each of these blueprints acts as one machine. The inputs go in one place, outputs out the other. And after organizing all of the belts, you are just not going to believe this. I didn't believe this when I ran the numbers, but I brought all of the belts over to this area here, and got them ready to go on the giant belt highway we still need to build. And okay, I hope you're sitting down for this. Got some math. We had 3,000 ore going into this, right? That all went into 15 systems. Each of those 15 systems made 320 iron ingots, which makes 4,800 iron ingots. 4,800 divided by our Mark 6 belts, what we'll soon have, is 4. So all of this is for 4 belts of iron ingots. Boom. Everything works out amazingly. And like literally just got lucky with it too. I didn't plan this at all. I was just like, hey, 320 ingots, that's totally fine, that's great. The amount of iron that was brought in at the beginning was just like what was around, and everything works out. This is future Kibs giving me good tidings. Now to abuse that goodwill and make an absolutely goofy new system that won't have numbers that work out. Cause yeah, this is only system 1. We can do anything with this iron project here. Why not try out something else? Like for example, let's grab these. It's the most efficient recipe, right? So why not just try and include more of them? Could have like 3 of these built in. Or actually, no. I like the foundries more. Let's instead build 4 of them in one blueprint, because each of them takes 25 iron ore each with the recipe. The 25 times 4, 100. Output is 200. Easy. And we could add in a couple refineries near the front there. That looks pretty good. Grab you. We'll have to figure out all the belt work, of course, but for the most part, let's do this. A little bit of that. Oh, and then there's the pipes though. Like we can't just go from A to B. Okay, but generally I like this idea. And then there's some schmeltas over on the other side. How many schmelters could we fit in? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, thank you. And we could stack them. Okay, maybe, no, this is a recipe for disaster. Let's hold our horses there. Oh, wait a second though, wait a second. We could have the smelters raised up, raise them up to like here, and have the belt work underneath them. Now we might be cooking with gas. Well, maybe not. So we got the smelters up top there, but I ran out of room to add on the last belt. So every time we build this blueprint, we're just gonna have to remember to add this extra lift in there. But hey, end of the day, got all the smelters up there. We have all the foundries up front, and then I even managed to make the 2 refineries work. So lots and lots of machines, way more dense than version 1 over there. Power, even had to get creative with that. Had to add in a beam here, because there's no other way to connect the power cables, at least like cleanly. So we have a beam running through, doing all that jazz, and then all of the outputs, well, they go up over this way, skewed on over to our merger here, and end up over here. Again, we're gonna have to add in another lift when we build the blueprint, but it'll be fine. Numbers wise, they work out a lot better here too, where this takes 300 iron ore, 120 limestone, and makes 465 iron ingots. So a little bit better than version 1. Not much better, but you know, is what it is. Big thing is it takes 300 iron ore. That'll make our belt work a lot more simple. And just like our first design, we're gonna start building them over here. And we'll find like another source or a couple other sources of iron ingots to bring through. And then we'll leave like a logistics lane just in the middle so things don't get too crazy. Wait, what? It says 1 more missing resource, but I can build this. What does that mean? Like I do have power shards in my inventory, and I did end up using a power shard for this recipe, but everything else is pretty commonplace. We don't have a problem with those items. So I don't know, probably dimensional depot things, but doesn't matter. We'll just fill in the rest of the space with more of the blueprint and then rock and roll. As for me, we need more iron, and there is so much more iron all over the place that is just kind of being a chore right now. I think the next set of iron we're gonna get is just that iron right over there. Thankfully, again, we have infrastructure all over the place. So with this train track, I built it on a foundation that is empty in the middle here. And this is just for our belt projects. So whenever I have to get some items that are by the trains, and I don't want to set up like a whole station, I use this space under here to bring the items through. So we'll just set up the support again, fill it out this way, and that'll be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. And actually, no, I'll just show you for a second. Usually how I go about it is when I build this platform here, I have another blueprint for a logistics box, and I build that next to it. So then when the belts from here come up this way, I go onto the logistics box, and things scoot onto like a main lane. Sometimes I have to build like 2 of the logistics boxes in a row. And then when the belt work goes over concrete, like to its destination, at the end of the day, I'll get rid of all this concrete. So it just looks like there's a few supports holding up everything. That way we don't just have like giant slabs of concrete just running off in every other direction. It looks weird after a while, unfortunately. This can just look so much better. And speaking of things looking better, ooh, I have had a problem in this game for a long time. Whenever I'm gathering items and doing this under the train track method, when I transition from like the train tracks foundations to like the factory grid foundation, there's always just this weird in-between moment where I'm trying to make things look good. So in the past, I'd usually just kind of like line it up like this. I'm looking up towards the compass there, like seeing like, oh, is that straight or how we looking? And eventually it's pretty good. And I'm like, all right, moving on to the next. But inevitably, there's like these weird little gaps that end up happening. At which point, I end up getting all finicky with things and getting out the pillars and all that kind of fun jazz. And it's a lot of work. For whatever reason, I never thought to try curved belt build mode. There's straight belt build mode, everything on 90 degrees, and then there's curved belt build mode in experimental. And this was the solution I always needed. Because with one simple curve, everything looks so much better, and I can do everything in one click. No Miller piddles, no having to line things up. It just looks fantastic. And honestly, I never thought I'd actually use this curved build mode, but for this specific scenario, I am going to use it all the time now. That is the bee's knees. And with all the goods, we're able to send everything into all the machines, and now we have even more iron ingots. And this biome continues to get weirder and weirder. Because once we made all the iron ingots over here, right, we have to transfer them to the other end, or at least I want to, so I can have all the belts end up in one place. And yeah, the belt work just gets crazier. Also, we ended up with a little bit of dead space in some areas where the blueprints just couldn't fit. So I've just been throwing in random machines here and there just to fill the gaps. So we do have some refineries, and I overclocked them a bit just to, you know, fill in the space. And then I've just built some smelter banks just to handle some of the other stuff too. Like, we have so much iron to get through. At some point, we just had to get things done. But mostly, I didn't want to block off the view of the space elevator. Like, if we had refineries right in front of the space elevator, it just wouldn't look good. So it's inefficient and looks a little boring, but we're just gonna be sticking with this. And you probably noticed, yes, we built another one of those systems just over here, just a smelter mass too, because we just have so much iron and limestone around here, it's like, may as well just use this recipe more. Like, honestly, this one, very, very handy. Big fan of it. Except for the fact that now we're running out of limestone. In fact, we've practically ran out. I've used all the sources. They're directed and allocated for. And at the end of the day, for our project, making the pressure conversion cubes, we also need limestone for that. So though I can't really use the rest of it here. Meaning we need a new blueprint. It's time to design. This one will just have to be smelters and refineries though. So it's gonna look a lot different, but different in like a boring way. I liked having the foundries in our blueprint. They're cool. So how do we make this look a little bit, I don't know, give it some pizzazz? Well, easiest way probably be to offset things. Like this recipe here with the refineries is the best one. So I prefer to have like more of these refineries set up. Well, that's pretty good. And then maybe we mess around with having more raised smelters. Like that worked out pretty well with the last blueprint, even if we had to like add in the extra bit at the end. But then what would we do with the splitters? Like we'd have the splitters over here, going through these machines. Did I make a ton of dead space in the middle here? So it was a good idea, I just had to change things dramatically. The biggest thing I wanted to keep was just having the refineries offset, and then I kind of went a little unhinged with the smelters. We have the two down here, and then I stacked two up in the front here. It's just like, yeah, I guess it looks weird. Sure, that's fine, smile. So we just have like two random smelters all up there. Again, the main thing is though, we get the ore, goes in that way. We get the ingots, they go out this way. It's a very normal design. It's practically like one machine. And like with our other blueprints, We get 200 iron ore, and we get 290 ingots out. But at least with this one, we don't have to worry about limestone. It's just a little bit of water. Yeah, I haven't forgot about the water. That's gonna be a whole thing for future Kibs, right, future Kibs? Let's just focus on building more blueprints. So we're just gonna build them over here. I wanna fill out this side of the biome, and then we can work our way inwards. Or maybe even do like different stuff at this stage. Like, we still have a lot of things to make for pressure conversion cubes. So a couple of assemblers making quickwire there or something, who knows? And who knows that we're using this blueprint. That is a chunk, isn't it? Actually, where will we build this? Why I have these refineries here? I don't even know. They're now gone. New blueprints in, please. And each of these takes 200 materials each. So perfect world, we could fit another blueprint just in here. But this is no perfect world, okay. Bean? Where should we build these extra blueprints? That's right, Mr. Bean. Precisely where you're standing. Yes, thank you, Mr. Bean, for the suggestion and making way so our factory could grow. So gathered more materials, built more of these setups, and unfortunately, I was only able to make like 2 of these blueprints work in this space. I filled it out no matter, and it uses another 1,200 iron ore per minute. So we should be good. Iron ore, all the limestone goes through here. I did most of the belt work underneath these platforms, so that's all good. The numbers gotta start getting a little wacky, like 350 there, 850 up this way, etc, etc. But I kept track of things on a notepad, so everything should totally work, smiley face. Also, when you can underclock, it does make a lot of the numbers easier. Sometimes you have to build more. And at some point, you have enough, and I think we do. Everything from all these refineries and machines ends up being belted way over to this disaster. And like I said earlier on in the video, we kind of just take a belt, maybe it's like 930 items per minute, throw it into a merger, get another belt of 930 items, overflows to this, making that 1,200 items. The residuals mixed with another belt, on it goes, filling up the belts until we end up with something at the end. You know, I didn't even track it at the end of the day. I was just like, hey, if there's a belt, if there's extra stuff, we'll send it to an awesome sink. Or even if these belts get clogged up, it's fine either way, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 belts ready to go, full of iron ingots. 11 times 1,200 though is not 15,000. What the frick? We still have to build even more. But it's fine, we have plenty of water over there. And iron and limestone is all over the place. Like, there's pier nodes all over here. Just skied them on back. Then found some resources over by the lake. Brought them back as well. And look at this curve. Oh, it's so nice, dude. And yeah, we can just process further. It's actually been a lot of fun, I have to say. Using all these different recipes and blueprints, it's neat. It's different. And it's kind of relaxing not have to sweat over every single item per minute. It's like, we have enough iron and limestone forever. Let's just have fun with this. And in no time, we're done. Just a quick little iron smelting project. No big deal, right? Man, though, it looks cool, eh? So the last couple belts just brought over here. We used the smelter design 1, and it's just nice. I found some more limestone, so that's gonna be a bit of a problem in T- next episode. But right now, look at all the smokestacks. Look at all the stuff. And now I just really want to look at it when it's fully operational. So everything is turned on, the limestone is input, and now we just have to add the spice, the iron, which is all over the place, and I totally remember where all of it is. Actually, funny thing about remembering where all the iron is. So you know how we were counting the belts earlier before I made this little addition? Well, about that. As I was running around and finalizing things to make sure it worked, I noticed I actually just forgot to count one of the 1,200 belts of iron. It's that one, right there. So, in fact, we actually had enough iron ingots before, and now we have like 18,000 ingots per minute. It's a rounding error, it's fine, everything's fine. Look at it, it's beautiful. And enough iron ingots to make all the pressure conversion cubes we could ever want. which is good because we can hardly power things and our battery is gonna drain pretty quick if we leave this going. So for now, we'll keep it paused. And then once we have everything done, then we'll boot it up, make some plutonium, and then run it all at full speed. Yeah, as for the water, we're gonna bring that in later because I think we're gonna be doing some wet concrete shenanigans here since I overused the limestone, but again, future Kib's problem. Right now, there is still one more important thing left to do. Since we're gonna be away from the nuclear power plant for a minute, I hired a management team to make sure nothing goes wrong over here. And most of the team, they have employee numbers, they have names, they are set to go. We have Greg, doing well Greg, Jace, Snut, Mikal, Jason, and then we had 3 more employees that we didn't have named yet. So I asked you guys in the last video what to name them. So employee 007, that will be James. Then this employee, instead of being 696, they are going to be 427, and their name will be Stanley. And then the last one here, instead of 051, they're going to be 343, named John. And I have a good feeling that this team will be able to manage the plant and make sure no disasters ever happen, right? Right. And with that, we'll call it here. So if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. And then until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.